Uh, Good morning. So today is a series of our faculty lecture. We are trying to cover the topics in recent advance in surgery. So this will be helpful for your answering theory questions. So I have included those topic as a faculty lecture. So today I'll go through the management of pyogenic liver abscess. Okay. Okay. Pyogenic liver abscess is defined as a collection of suppurative material within the liver parenchyma. This is usually due to inflammatory necrosis. This necrosis can be secondary to bacterial, amoebic, or fungal organisms. And the most common cause of pyogenic liver abscess is a bacterial infection. So, what is the prevalence of pyogenic liver abscess? Liver abscess are the most common type of visceral abscess. And this accounts for about 48% of visceral abscess, and it constitutes 13% of intraabdominal abscess overall. The annual incidence of liver abscess in the Western countries are 1.1 to 3.5 per lakh population. In Asian population, this is much higher, estimated to be about 17.6 per lakh population. PLA is higher among men than in women, and this is higher in elderly population. What are the different risk factors for development of pyogenic liver abscess? It said that male gender, advancing age, diabetes mellitus, background of cirrhosis, patients who are chronic PPI users, immunosuppressed state because of some drug therapy or some immunosuppressed disease, and in patient with liver transplantation. There are some factors which are associated with higher mortality in patients with pyogenic liver abscess. Male patients are at higher risk of death, advanced age, patient having bacteremia, patient having hyperbilirubinemia, cirrhosis of liver, renal failure, patient in septic shock, Apache score more than 15, patient having underlying malignancy, and pyogenic liver abscess found by gastronomic organisms are at a higher risk of mortality. There are some incidents of rupture of this liver abscess, and the predictors for ruptures are when the infection occurs with gas-forming organisms, patient's background of cirrhosis, or the liver abscess are more than 6 centimeters in size. So what are the etiology? If you go to the history, in early 20th century, most of the pyogenic liver abscess was secondary to acute appendicitis, leading to pyelophlebitis with high mortality because that time there was paucity of antibiotics. However, in late 20th century, it is found that with the advent of antibiotic, the incidence of appendicitis, pyelophlebitis are going much down. And now pyeliosis is secondary to some benign and malignant biliary tract disease, where there is ascending cholangitis leading to invasion of bacteria into the liver directly, leading to abscess. And with intervention like radiofrequency ablation, transarterial chemoembolization, and liver transplant patients are having higher incidence of pyogenic liver abscess. So how does this infection spread? So primary pyogenic liver abscess may occur by direct seedling of these organisms from biliary tract. 30 to 50% of these pyogenic liver abscess are because of some disease in the biliary tract. So in biliary tract, when there is an obstruction, there is proliferation of bacteria leading to ascending cholangitis and liver abscess. Because of obstruction, there is elevated intrabiliary pressure that can cause cholangiovenous reflux leading to endotoxemia. This seedling of bacteria may occur through the portal vein. Second most common, inflammatory bowel disease, appendicitis, other inflammatory disease in the gut can cause breach in bowel mucosa leading to pyelophlebitis and liver abscess. This can happen secondary to some hematogenous spread from other focus of infection in the body like infective endocarditis, parenteral nutrition, IV drug abuser, or vascular injuries. Bacterial infection occurs into the liver through the hepatic artery from hematogenous spread. Sometimes this pyogenic liver abscess may occur by direct invasion of the infection from the adjacent site, like patient having subphrenic abscess, patient having acute cholecystitis with rupture of this gallbladder wall into the liver bed. And in some cases, even after exhaustive workup, no cause could be ascertained because for this pyogenic liver abscess. These are known as cryptogenic liver abscess, and in most of the cases, it may be secondary to some malignant disease. There are some secondary pyogenic liver abscess. That means this abscess in the liver occurs secondary to some other lesion in the liver, like amoebic liver abscess may have secondary infection. A hydrated cyst in the liver may have secondary infection. Hepatic tumors because of necrosis and subsequent infection can cause pyogenic liver abscess. Sometimes iatrogenic procedures like hepatic procedures, radiofrequency ablation, laser ablation, TACE, biliary procedure like ERCP sphincterotomy causing ascending cholangitis and pyogenic liver abscess. So what is the bacteriology? In about 40% of cases, this can be monomicrobial. In 40%, it may be polymicrobial. And in about 20% cases, these are culture negative. The most common organisms are E. coli. Apart from this, there are other gram-negative organisms like Klebsiella, Proteus. Apart from this, Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, and anaerobic organisms like Bacteria fragilis are also the common inferior organisms. Gas-forming organisms like Clostridium perfringens are often associated with patients having diabetes and often in cryptogenic abscesses. So how does this patient presents? The classic triad of presentation of pyogenic liver abscess includes fever with or without chills and rigors. Patient may have malaise, right upper quadrant pain abdomen. Other symptoms include anorexia and weight loss, nausea and vomiting. Patient may have some symptoms of diaphragmatic irritation like shoulder pain or hiccup. Physical examination may reveal liver dysfunction in the form of jaundice. Patient may have tender hepatomegaly, intercostal tenderness, epigastric tenderness, decreased breath sounds in the right lower lobe of the lung because of associated collapse, and patient may have signs of systemic sepsis in the form of hypotension, respiratory distress, and altered mental state. So there are some other conditions in the liver which can mimic pyogenic liver abscess. This includes non-pyogenic lesions like amoebic liver abscess, fungal infection. 10% of liver abscess may be formed by fungal infection, hepatic echinococcosis, hepatic cyst, benign liver tumors, and some malignant lesion in the liver may mimic pyogenic liver abscess. So what are the laboratory investigations do for diagnosis of pyogenic liver abscess? So the routine blood examinations will reveal neutrophil leukocytosis. Some patients may have normocyte normochloric anemia. Liver enzymes may get elevated, particularly alkaline phosphatase, AST and ALT. Patient may have hypoalbuminemia because of liver dysfunction, hyperbilirubinemia. Inflammatory markers may get elevated, like in case ESR, CRP, and procalcitonin. And other findings may be in case of INR and LDH. Blood culture is positive in up to 60% of cases. Image-guided aspiration and gram stain and culture sensitivity is another important investigation for patient of pyogenic liver abscess. And some cases where the diagnosis is not certain, we need to do serology for echinococcus, for amoebiasis also. Imaging is a good modality of investigation for diagnosis of liver abscess. Majority of pyogenic liver abscess are solitary, and based on the radiological criteria, we can classify this pyogenic liver abscess into small, large, or giant, based on the size of the lesion in the radiological features. Ultrasound is a primary mode of investigations, and in ultrasound, it may be a poorly demarcated or hyperechoic or hypoechoic lesion. This lesion, when found by gas-forming organism, can show high echogenicity. And application of color Doppler will reveal no perfusion in the center of the mass. And contrast enhanced ultrasound may show marginal wall enhancement in arterial phase and venous hypoenhancement in portal and late phase. CT scan is the alternative first-line imaging modality for suspected pyogenic liver abscess. This lesion usually appear hypodense. This lesion appears hypodense, And if you give IV contrast, there will be peripheral rim enhancement. And there are some sign called double target sign when you have an inner hyperdense layer and outer hypodense layer. This is a classic feature of CT scan where you have one inner hyperdense and outer hypodense layer, double target sign. CT may reveal multiple abscesses. It is difficult to, in small multiple abscesses, difficult to diagnose by ultrasonography. So it can be non-enhancing lesion in the liver having multiple such pyogenic liver abscess. In MRI scan is another modality of investigation where in T1 emitted image, it can appear as central hypointense, and T2 emitted image can show hyperintense lesion. This on the left is a T2 image showing a hyperintense lesion in the liver, and on the right side is a T1 emitted image showing a hypointense lesion in the liver. A plain X-ray is usually not standard of care, but if you do a plain X-ray, it can show some important finding in the form of elevated diaphragm. There may be gas bubbles within the lesion, and it can show secondary lung changes. So if you look at this, there is a air fluid level in the right hypochondriac region with elevated diaphragm dome, and on the right side you can see some basal atelectic changes. So what are the principles of treatment? There has been a paradigm shift in management of pyogenic liver abscess, and that has led to gross reduction in mortality and morbidity of these patients. So the principles of treatment includes antibiotics, percutaneous aspiration, percutaneous drainage by a catheter, and surgical treatment. So what are the important aspects of management? So this is the patient where you need a diagnostic aspiration and culture, and based on the culture you should select the antibiotics. So general principles of treatment with these patients would be, we start with the empiric antibiotic. Before the culture report came, these are the patients who are very sick, so we cannot wait for the culture report to come. Patient should give us some empiric antibiotic based on the suspected flora. Before the antibiotic is administered, you should take a blood culture sample and initiate the treatment as soon as possible. In addition to resuscitation, patient should be given IV antibiotics. And some smaller abscess, which are less than 3 cm, can respond only to parenteral antibiotics. However, most patients require percutaneous abscess drainage, and some complicated abscesses or giant abscess might require surgical treatment. And in addition to this, we should think of treating the underlying primary disease, like patient having a biliary obstruction should have relief of biliary obstruction, and patient having cholecystitis should be undergoing a surgery for gallstone disease. So how do you choose empiric antibiotic therapy? There is no specific recommendations, but we should select an antibiotic which has got a susceptibility to this particular bug, and this often is dependent on the local resistance pattern. And once the culture report is available, we should switch into the specific antibiotics based on the culture sensitivity. And these intravenous antibiotics in pyogenic liver abscess should be continued for at least 2 weeks. And in some cases, the duration of therapy may go up to 4 to 6 weeks. And you should cover both gram-positive, gram-negative, and the anaerobes. So you can either use a single agent regimen like piperacillin tazobactam is a good choice, apart from the carbapenem in the form of imipenem cilostazine or ertapenem or meropenem, or a combination therapy with metronidazole plus a third generation cephalosporin or a fluoroquine like ciprofloxacin. So these are the different combinations. These are the empiric antibiotic, and this antibiotic has to be changed based on the culture sensitivity report. So IV antibiotic is the first line of treatment, and small abscesses may respond to only antibiotics. Next is the drainage of abscess cavity. These are indicated when the abscess is more than 3 cm in size, and smaller abscesses even when they are not responding well to antibiotic therapy, and patient has some radiological signs of impending perforation. These are situations we should consider drainage of the abscess cavity. And how do you drain? The first modality of drainage is image guided percutaneous aspiration. So these are done under local anesthesia, and needle is inserted into the abscess cavity based on ultrasound guidance, and you can aspirate the pus. And in smaller abscesses, antibiotics plus needle aspiration is good enough for cure of this pyogenic liver abscess. This causes less discomfort because you are not putting a catheter. So we can just do image guided, ultrasound guided needle insertion and just aspirate the pus and send also for this culture sensitivity. Next is percutaneous catheter drainage or PCD. In larger pyogenic liver abscess, PCD is better than needle aspiration. And in multiple large abscesses, you can use multiple catheters. This causes better response with drainage, and these are having a high success rate in patient with unilocular pyogenic liver abscess. So how to do this? These are done under image guidance. The local area is anesthetized and the abscess cavity is punctured. A guide wire is inserted, and over this, the pigtail catheter is inserted into the abscess cavity. So you can aspirate, you can irrigate, and this PCD is successful in good number of cases, particularly the moderate size abscess and large abscess sometimes can be cured with percutaneous drainage. It has got advantage over the surgical treatment. So you can insert a pigtail catheter under image guidance and you can aspirate and connect it to the closed suction drainage system. So you can do a good percutaneous catheter drainage of the catheter under image guidance. Then surgical treatment. Surgical treatment is indicated when this is a disease complicated by some other primary disease requiring surgical treatment, which will require surgery for cure like appendicitis, cholecystitis, and there are some difficult areas where it is not amenable to image guided aspiration or drainage, or there is repeated attempts at percutaneous drainage, but there is a residual abscess. So this can be done either by open or laparoscopic technique. So these are the indications: failure of non-operative treatment, continuing sepsis 5 days after antibiotics and PCD, giant pyogenic liver abscess, surgery is better than PCD, multilocular abscess, high viscosity abscess, and rupture pyogenic liver abscess in the prime indication for doing immediate surgical treatment. So this can be either by laparoscopic, and here if you want to drain this abscess by laparoscopic technique, the standard port procedure like cholecystectomy, or it can be done even by single port laparoscopic surgery. So it can be a single port laparoscopic surgery targeting the liver abscess. So what you do is you localize the abscess, and using a hook you can deroof the abscess cavity and suck the pus content and do a good peritoneal lavage and put a drain there. Sometimes some abscess cannot be approached by laparoscopic technique. In that case, you should go by standard subcostal incision and deroof the abscess cavity and put a drain there. So, the complications of pyogenic liver abscess. This can rupture. It can rupture into the general abdominal cavity, causing generalized peritonitis. It can rupture into the chest, causing empyema. It can rupture into the retroperitoneum, causing retroperitoneal abscess. This can cause sepsis and septicemic shock. It can cause pneumonia and pleural effusion. So what is the prognosis? Earlier, in early 20th century, when there is not much of good antibiotics, the mortality is very high. And this mortality is high in elderly and diabetics. Systemic sepsis, pneumonia, multi-organ failure, and abscessed hepatocellular carcinoma was the indicator of higher mortality. Risk of rupture is higher in cirrhosis, patient having a gas-forming aneurysm, and when the size was more than 6 centimeters. Morbidity and mortality is higher when these are the abscess which has gone to rupture. So PLA is not very uncommon. It may be caused by bacterial, fungal, or amoebic infections. It's more common in elderly and male gender. There has been a paradigm shift in the management of pyogenic liver abscess, where we are using a combination of good antibiotics percutaneous drainage, and in selected cases either laparoscopic or open surgical technique. Percutaneous drainage is preferred over surgical treatment, and laparoscopy surgery is preferred over open surgery. Morbidity and mortality now is lower than was in early 20th century. Thank you. You can answer some questions if they could. Good. Can you take two topics? No. Yeah. Dr. Bhattacharya,
Yes, good morning.
any comment?
So
Or-
now it's a
Students
nice
are less.
presentation. Nice presentation for the PGTs, 1 or 2 words. Though it is contraindicated to do percutaneous drainage if the INR is more than 1.5, but occasionally we come across the liver abscess, which is near about the INR is 2 and 2.1. In that cases also we shall have to take help of something. That is, we can give the plasma and
Yeah.
followed by you can drain it. This is for the PGTs, they should, as because if they say the INR is high, so then it will be confusing the way that they will do something or not, but it is a recommendation up
Yeah.
to 2 or 2.5 after giving the frozen, yes, fresh frozen plasma, we can do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The
Thank
fear is building actually. So
Yes,
we have
yes.
to correct this INR by giving either vitamin K or fresh frozen plasma, and then
Yes.
we can go for this.
Yes.
Because
And even it has been shown that the once drainage has been done, the INR has come down. So,
yeah,
okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Apanda.
Thank you. Chalo.